pronouns are she, her, hers. During sabbatical, we're experimenting with a few changes, and one of them is that these announcements will come here at the beginning before worship begins. We are a community seeking to deepen spiritually, to take care of one another, and to be a blessing to the world. Unitarian Universalism is a faith for all, so bring all of who you are, all of your beliefs, identities, abilities, challenges, and gifts. Bring all of what you've been and all of what you've done. There is room here for all of it. We are not concerned about the sounds that children or cars or anyone else might make during the service, and I hope you won't be either. The service is broadcast several places downstairs and in the area right behind me. There's a couch and a bathroom if anyone needs a break. Our congregation includes a wide diversity of beliefs, and we know we don't need to think alike to love alike. We invite you to freely translate the language you hear today. We have learned through the pandemic that our sanctuary is not this room or any place at all. Sanctuary is what we create together. Please come in and rest for a while. You are so welcome here. Now, if you would like, please take a moment to turn and say hello to those sitting next to you or near you, or otherwise feel free to sit in quiet contemplation before the service begins.
With the bustle of this morning still buzzing and lingering, the lost hour of sleep, with everything we have on our hearts and minds, we have arrived here in this sanctuary on Main Street, and this sanctuary created via pixels, no less sacred. Please consider this invitation to open your heart and your mind, to tell yourself and each other a little more of the truth. Please consider this invitation to invest and reinvest in your relationship with your irreducible soul, with your ageless beauty, with your blazing humanity. Please consider this invitation to heed the call to return again to the home of your soul, to return to the sacred, to return to each other. And please consider this invitation to fill your tank here this morning with the solace and power of prayer, of opening together, of fueling our most compassionate and connected selves. Because it's our most compassionate and connected selves that are a blessing to this world. Come and let us worship together.
The 3 bells at the start of worship invite you to settle into your body more fully, remind you that you are whole, you belong wholly upon this earth, and you are held in the love that holds us all in tenderness. With each bell, I invite you to breathe in and release, or close your eyes, then open them. The first bell is for you. The second is for your loved ones. And the third is for the world. If you are with us remotely, I invite you to get a candle and light it as we light our common chalice in the meeting house. Donna Noah will light the chalice this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't pray with my eyes closed. I'm not comfortable with closing my eyes ever, unless of course I'm sleeping. It's probably a leftover safety thing, but now it's integral to my being. Keeping my eyes open, even when they're supposed to be closed, keeps all of my senses accessible. That's probably why I like Anne Lamott's book, Help, Thanks, Wow, 3 Essential Prayers. Eyes open, mind open, heart opened. Increased awareness keeps me open to the wow. A devout Presbyterian whose books are loved by Unitarian Universalists because she's a UU, but she doesn't know it yet. Anne brings acceptability to prayer for even the most skeptical by writing, when we are stunned into a place beyond words, when an aspect of life takes us away from being able to chip at something until it's down to some manageable size, and then to file it nicely away, when all we can say in response is, wow, that's a prayer. Wows can be bold and sparkly, small and pensive, or as described in the book, uppercase and lowercase. Aretha Franklin, Rachmaninoff, the Impressionism Gallery at the Museum of Fine Arts, Paul McCartney at Fenway Park are my uppercases. The cacophony of color in my flower beds that persevere no matter what nature brings in is my quiet lowercase one. Watching the faces and the body language of the incarcerated men in MCI Shirley when they realize that they can transform their violent reactions into a nonviolent, positive self, worthy of respect by others and themselves, is a wow with fireworks. Now, is that any bigger than the first time that Maudie, one of the chickens from next door, jumped up and settled down in my lap happily to eat from my hand? Well, the first one certainly makes the world a better place, but I love them both. They're both worthy of an amen, which, by the way, has nothing to do with men, but actually translates from an ancient language to, so be it. Or in the vernacular, ain't that the truth? My own voyage into the wow takes me deeper though. Wow
can also be an expression or a feeling of, how could that have happened? Why do we still put up with that? When will it change? And most importantly, what can we do to make it stop? Here's an example, and I will warn you, it's a tough one. We have come to realize that while we are good UUs, as Paula Cole-Jones from the Mid-Atlantic District of the Unitarian Universalist Association describes, that we are following our 7 principles without thinking about or dealing with racism or other oppressions on a systemic level. As evidence, she points to the fact that most UU congregations, even those located near diverse communities, are primarily European American in membership, culture, which includes music, and leadership. Another harder example of systemic racism is the new Jim Crow, in which the criminal justice system has replaced slavery with mass incarceration. Unless you think that is not an overwhelmingly serious issue in America, come with me inside MCI Shirley, a medium security prison just 9 miles from this church, and witness the sea of young black men behind razor wire topped walls who exist now as a number without identity as a whole person or the touch of someone who loves them. Our first UU principle, the one that most of us know, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, is dear to us, but it does not hold us accountable to the work that needs to be done. A new 8th principle was drafted and incorporated into the covenant of the UU Church of the Restoration in Philadelphia in 2017. It's now circulating among UU congregations with the end goal of having enough adoptions to bring it to the annual General Assembly to be officially voted in as an addition to our principles of faith. This exciting grassroots initiative is itself an example of our 5th principle of a democratic process. We, the members of each church, are pushing change up to the top. Another wow. The new draft principle states that we will covenant to affirm and promote journeying toward a spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and in our institutions. It does not say that we're going to fix everything tomorrow. It simply states that we promise to take actions to dismantle racism everywhere, and that we will be accountable to fulfill that commitment. First Parish Groton is a small church located in a town with a woefully historic lack of diversity. But we are a member of a network of over 1,000 UU churches in the U.S. We can join them in this call to action. this candle, you will see that the big heart of our small chalice will light our way, helping to keep our eyes open, our minds open, and our hearts open to the important work that we will do together, that we must do together. It is my prayer that we will have discussions and a vote to join the other congregations soon. And then I can say, I am a Unitarian Universalist. Wow, and amen. I can already hear Aretha singing in praise.
I'll invite Sadie Foster to come up to light the peace candle today. Each Sunday morning, we light a peace candle to remind us that we live in a time of war and that there is violence in so many places in our world. May we know that without love, there will never be peace. May we remember always that love is not the answer, it's the assignment. Please join in singing Carolyn Dade's song, Spirit of Life.
Today's service is divided into a few parts. It's a little bit different than usual. This is in all ages, so we're not sending our kids downstairs. We're trying to give them stuff to do. We'll see how that goes. They are welcome to cruise and do whatever they need to do. One of my first classes in seminary was a week-long intensive, and I got assigned to write the closing prayer for the last class. I panicked. I went home to my friend Barb, who I always stay with, and I was like, I can't write a prayer. I'm not qualified. And he looked at me and he was like, Lee, you meditate every day. What is it that you think is the difference? I had never been a prayer before. And I think I've mentioned before that I thought my call to ministry was a prank call, so I was still really working with that reality, actually. And prayer felt like one of those ways. It's like, I'm not a church person, I don't even know. So I had to go to work to expand my idea of what prayer was, and then to find out how prayer worked for me. And I did that. And over the past 6 years, I've developed this prayer practice that is central to my well-being. I actually don't know how I did it before. Obviously, I got through the first 50-some years. But however you relate to prayer or don't relate to prayer, I hope there's something here for you today. It won't be everything, but maybe there's something. As Donna mentioned in her chalice lighting, Anne Lamott names the 3 essential prayers as help, thanks, and wow. And those are the 3 we're going to kind of work with today. Prayer is very private. Even when we're with other people, it's very private. Anne Lamott describes it as communication from the heart to the great mystery, to goodness, to that which is beyond us. For some people, that is God. For some people, it's Jesus. For some people, it's Allah. For others, it could be Gaia, Mother Earth, Spirit of Life, whatever that is for you. So Anne Lamott says prayer is a cry from deep within out to life or love with those capital L's. Life or love. And a lot of times people think of praying for something, right? Whether it's safety or healing or a new bunny, whether it's decent weather on the big day, or a job, or a baby, or sobriety, whether it's health for our family or for our dog. Sometimes we think of prayers as an ask, and then there's a waiting for an answer. And we hear that a lot, right? Our prayers were answered, our prayers were not answered. And when they are answered, wonderful. For some of us, I think the more formal Christian or Jewish prayers are deeply sacred and important. And it's really important for all of us to respect that. Prayer is so personal. Christian author C.S. Lewis married his wife, Joy Gresham, after she was diagnosed with cancer. And like any family dealing with advanced disease processes, they went through pain and grief and love and struggles. And Lewis was having a talk with a friend of his, and the friend said, you know, I know how hard you've been praying. And something good had happened recently on a scan, and the friend said, you know, God is answering your prayers. And Lewis's answer actually became quite famous, his answer to his friend. He said, that's not why I pray. I pray because I can't help myself. I pray because I'm helpless. I pray because the need flows out of me all the time, waking and sleeping. Praying doesn't change God, it changes me. Prayer changes me. I pray because it changes me. Yes. Prayer can be with words or with no words. They can be like asking, or they can be different from asking. Prayers can be motion. Prayers can be stillness. Prayer is attention. It's giving our full attention to the moment. And when we do that, the moment can transform into prayer. It can transform into a moment in which we are inside of prayer. The medieval Italian mystic and author who was sainted, named Catherine of Siena, wrote, perfect prayer isn't achieved with many words, but with loving desire. Everything you do can become a prayer. This last Friday, I was talking to somebody in our church who had gotten some hard news about a loved one. And she said she had the urge to pray, but wasn't sure, prayer. But then she had gone to the window and had looked up to the sky, and suddenly that was the prayer. That she was the prayer. And I'm going to close this part with contemporary American mystic poet Shalane Harkin and her description here. I love this. I no longer pray. Now I drink dark chocolate and let the moon sing to me. I no longer pray. I let my ancestors dance through my hips at the slightest provocation. I no longer pray. I go to the river and howl my ancient pain to the current. I no longer pray. I ache. I desire. I say yes to my longing. I no longer pray as I was taught, but as the stars crawl into my lap like soft animals at nighttime, and God tucks my hair behind my ears with the gentle fingers of her wind. And a new intimacy is uncovered in everything. Perhaps it's actually that I'm finally learning how to pray. So please stand as you're able and sing with us, I Am Willing. This is calling near. The words are in your insert. best songs ever written. That was my COVID anthem. It's still my anthem. I guess it's a post-COVID anthem. So the first of our three basic prayers is help, help, help. How many ways can you say help? Try with me. Help, 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 help. Ooh, we've got Scottish help over here. I could listen to her read the phone book. It's good. So this may be the single most common prayer. It's a single most common thing that brings people to prayer. Help. It's that old thing about there's no atheist in a foxhole. Help. People come often to prayer with specific helps in mind. Do you have a help prayer in mind today? An I need help prayer? Or a please help this person prayer? This animal, this situation? I think for many people, it's our loved ones who first come to us when we think help. The dearest ones in our tiny little galaxy of humans. These tiny little galaxies in which something is always going wrong. Maybe it's a prayer for us, but the essence of help is openness. It's acknowledging that we need help. That's the hardest piece. Help requires opening, surrender, vulnerability. We can start help prayers with words, any prayer, but we don't have to. I come pray here every night, and my thing is just to get as open and raw and messy and honest and vulnerable as I possibly can get. And sometimes that has words, and sometimes it doesn't. And then I listen. I'm not listening for something. I'm just listening. Just opening. Something always comes. When we open and keep opening, something always comes. I pray because it changes me. So we pray help. We let our hearts break so our spirits don't. We let our hearts break so our spirits don't break. With our sabbatical hymn, as it were, All Shall Be Well. It is in your insert, and as soon as we get rolling, you can stand up. All right, yeah, please rise as you're able and willing.
I said, Julian, do you not know about sorrow? And Julian, do you not know about the pain? She said, all shall be well, and all
Okay, help, thanks, thanks. Gratitude, such a beautiful prayer. Thanks helps us hold life both lightly and deeply at the same time, I think. Gratitude doesn't try to control or change stuff that we can't control or change, like the past, or the truth, or somebody else. Thanks knows that there's always change, and that if things went well, it might not have, right? So yes, we are thankful, and in that way, thanks, I think, helps us hold life lightly. But at the same time, thanks also helps us hold life deeply, because we recognize how wonderful our people are, how wonderful our communities are, how wonderful that experience, or that pet, or that meal, or how much we love watching the birds, or hearing the river, or feeling the breeze on our skin, and all of that is amazing. And that gratitude helps us actually be more present in the moment, and it helps us connect more deeply with our lives, and especially with the people in our lives. You feel how gratitude brings you closer to the people in your life. It kind of smooths over all the disagreements and bumps. We can really get into the gratitude. It strengthens our connections and our bonds. So what are your prayers of thanks? I'm going to invite Diane Hewitt forward to tell us about why she translates her thanks for this community into stewardship.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm a member, happily a member, of our newly formed stewardship team, and I'd like to share with you why I come to First Parish and why I give. I came to First Parish in the early 1980s, looking for ways to shore up my inadequate religious education, to engage and learn from the diversity of ideas and points of view, to sing, to pray, for me often one and the same, to observe and create rituals. With two very young children, I also came to find a small, quiet space for myself, to give myself time to feel deeply, to question, to meditate on the trees, and to see how the light plays across the windows, to sit in the warmth of community and to sense the larger history of our town and the parish was an amazing thing. So many years later, I give to First Parish because I have found a home. I give as I sit in the memories of the beloveds we have lost and in the uncertain journey ahead. I remember Doug Kraft's dedication of my kids and how Aaliyah encouraged my young nephews to light the candles at Christmas Eve. I give because our kids are a sacred gift, and I hope my contributions help in some very small way to give them a loving and secure foothold in this very crazy world. I give what I can because I still want to be challenged, to sing, to pray, and to feel the power of kindness, hope, and genuine connection. I give to First Parish because it's important to pay it forward, to help sustain and grow what I and so many of us have been given so freely, to feel the vastness of our history as we vastness of our history as we still find those small, quiet spaces, meditate on the trees, and how the light plays across the windows. I hope you will join me in contributing as generously as you can to the Fully Fund FY 2023. We're seeking to close our current shortfall of $80,000 by March 31st, and the initial efforts are very promising. Your leadership teams have fully stepped up, and a total of 22 families have contributed close to $20,000, or about 22% of what we need to close the gap. We are deeply appreciative to those who have already made a donation, and we encourage everyone to consider how they may more fully support this beloved community. Jackie Fry and I will be available downstairs after the service to answer questions about our current finances and what you can do to help. Thanks so much.
All right, so I'll invite the ushers to come forward and we'll have our offering now. Thank you. So our last one is wow. Help, thanks. Wow! Try it with me. Wow! 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 Yeah. Prayer always helps me get my humor back. Aaliyah and I have talked about that a lot. Like, it doesn't seem like it would, but boy, that is the secret to how funny we actually are. I'm going to share with you my favorite wow poem, and then we're going to have a little time to do a ritual. So this is by trans non-binary poet Andrea Gibson, who is living with advanced cancer. On Titan, Saturn's largest moon, raindrops are much bigger than they are on Earth, and they fall so slowly that you can look up and see one coming and move out of the way. Imagine seeing that for the first time. Rain inching down from the sky. Your eyes wide as you follow it down. Each drop dreaming to the ground. How you would be hypnotized. That's how I feel looking at our world, they write. Knowing our time here is not promised. Bangs, anything can happen anytime. I heal the disease of being accustomed to beauty. I see the miracle in the aspen tree with its golden leaves like 1,000 yellow lights, begging me to slow down. May I never be mistaken for an old soul. May the astonishment on my face always say, "This is my first time here." Marveling at the steam rising from lavender tea. The patch of sun that traveled 90 million miles to warm the hardware floor where my oldest puppy dreams. My December window thrown open to my neighbor's violin. Every goosebump on my skin, a coin and God's tip jar. Every poet I know regrets much of what they wrote in the past. But I regret nothing more than how much ink I gave to my pain, to my bolded grudges, the highlighted losses. I could fill libraries with the joy I've gained since I started praying for what I already have. I could fill libraries with the joy I've gained since I started praying for what I already have. So you have some pieces of paper in your pews. Some of them are for you to peruse and take home, the white ones with words. Maybe there's something there that speaks to you. Some of them are cut at triangle angles and they're different colors. And if you would like to, these are an invitation for you to write or draw your own prayer today, and then maybe now or maybe after the service, we can tape them up on the plywood windows that are now, some of them have, what do we call that, graffiti?
Confetti.
What is it?
Confetti.
Oh, confetti, yes. Now they have some colored confetti on them from previous examples of plywood window decoration. So would you like to write a prayer? If you want to follow the color scheme, and you don't have to, the help are blue, the thanks are green, the wow are yellow, and pink is wild card. It's one that doesn't fit in the box, because I gotta have one for that doesn't fit in the box. So if you have a prayer you'd like to share with the community, or you can write it on there and take it home, it's up to you. Sean's going to play a little music, and I'm also going to invite anybody who wants to come forward. We have prayer water here, and we have stones of different colors. If you'd like to do a silent prayer of different colors by adding a stone to the water, that's something we started during outside church, and in particular our kids like to do it. Anybody's welcome to do it. We also have a small tray if you'd like to do the stones in the water, but you don't want to come up. So we'll take just a few minutes to do this, and Sean will play some music for us, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Yeah, there is tape on the windowsills if after this service you would like to share your prayer with the community, or any of them. If you would like it shared but you don't want to go over and hang it, leave it in the pew and we'll hang it afterward, and it'll be there for the next who knows how many weeks until we get north windows back again. So I appreciate everyone just considering the idea of prayer and what that is in Unitarian Universalism. all the options that it can be. And holding also our beloveds who identify multi-religiously, who identify as Christian UUs or Jewish UUs or Buddhist or pagan. Everybody has such a personal way to pray. And it's something I would encourage us to talk with about each other and carefully. That's information that we probably want to share carefully. Yeah. So I want to just say one word. If there are more silent candles that would like to be lit after the service, you're welcome to do that. We'll move the candles out as per usual, and you can come light a silent candle. We do ask that folks try to hold their conversation during that time while Sean plays and people light silent candles. Our closing hymn, if you would rise in body or spirit, is There's a River Flowing in My Soul. As you wish later on. All shall be well, and all shall be well. You know it, and all manner of things shall be well. Invite you to put one hand over your heart, beloveds, and with the other reach out. Experience each other as you can. We are woven together through strong and sturdy threads of love. Go in peace and be the blessing in this world.
Thank you.